We gotta wait 10 seconds before we get started. So 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the First Responders Podcast. I'm Cameron Hay at Cameron_Hay on Twitter. The same crew as usual is with me. Drew Williams at Dopest Drew on Twitter, and Taylor Ford at My Forte on Twitter. It has been the slowest week, maybe, of the month as far as music releases this past week. If it's fair to say it, when you
album wise,
probably.
We're gonna get the biggest song of the
What'd you
year.
say, Tay?
I said definitely.
Yeah, it's like it's weird to say it because we got a new, like, Drake dropped a new single, Frank Ocean dropped two new tracks, but this definitely was, as far as album releases this month, we didn't have anything major that dropped this week. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on the 2C Slide. Like, have you guys listened to the song yet?
Yeah, a lot.
You listen to it, Tay?
Yeah, it's impossible not to at this point.
So how do you guys feel about the record? Like, the 2C Slide, like Drake. I think the track is being taken too seriously or too literally by the internet when it comes to. He never said that this track was made for TikTok. No, he never said that out of his mouth. So
it's a TikTok song.
But even if it is, like, rap
culture, I have an issue if it is.
No, but I'm saying, like, I've seen people like with blue checks and stuff say, I haven't heard the song on TikTok yet or anything. Like, how are we different? What is the difference between this song
and the dance?
But I'm saying, like, as far as like anything else that he's made, like, it's a Drake rap. If you listen to the lyrics,
yeah. Like, if it didn't have that part, it would still be a good song.
No, but I'm not even talking about the quality of the record. I'm talking about just the structure of it. It's a typical Drake record, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that this is anything too far differentiating from the norm for him as far as a typical, like, single type of record from him. Besides just now dance thrown into it.
Like, of course, like, Shay, like, doing his dance helped a lot. But would you say it's in the same realm of, like, In My Feelings?
Yeah, 100%. It's a track that the hook is the hook is him singing, and then the verses
are him rapping.
And In My Feelings a little bit more. I feel like In My Feelings, in my opinion, personally, was a little bit more poppy than this record is. To be honest with you, when you really sit down and listen to the lyrics that he's rapping on 2C Slide, this isn't really as fun of a record as people are making it out to be.
It's about a hit, man.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's about a hit, bro. Like, I think that's what makes the song hot to me, in my opinion, personally. Like, I'm not really too crazy about doing a viral dance. Like, I've never done one. I've never got on the internet and done a dance or anything. But, like, when you really sit and listen to each verse and how the song progresses, that's what I'll go to for it more than anything. But yeah. So, do both of you guys like the record? Or
yeah, I like it a lot.
How you feel about it, Tay?
I like it a lot. I'm not like one of these guys on the internet who's taking it too serious. Like, he's shown over the years that he can rap. I don't need him to do that every time he drops because I know rap heads aren't his only audience. No.
And then my thing is, the biggest thing I'm just confused by with people being annoyed by the record, or not annoyed, but downplaying it, the people that are, they're acting like, oh, he's just chasing hits now or whatever. Like, he didn't put out When to Say When in Chicago Freestyle earlier this year. Like, it's like when he drops these type of songs, everything else he puts out gets ignored. And it's like everything else he did before this doesn't matter. Like, he's shown that it don't matter though.
And not even just that, but he is the bar. He doesn't need to chase a hit. If you're reading this, Too Late came out, every song on that charted within the top 40?
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy.
Like, something ridiculous. So I don't need to chase a hit. I could fart on a track for 3 minutes and it could possibly go top 20.
for real. Like, I just think that the shit is like, he gets questioned for doing whatever he wants to do more than anybody else. Like, it's just confusing to me.
I like that he leaned all the way in though. I like you. Like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna do a dance record and, like, I'm gonna, like, do a video.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna show you how big can a Drake song be? And I think this is going to be his biggest song ever, numbers wise, like in the streaming era. Because I think
that's crazy. Not saying that you're wrong, but it had a higher first day debut on Spotify stream wise than God's Plan.
Yeah. So I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be his biggest song ever.
I'm gonna say this. I think it's so interesting how the culture as a whole, as far as like the people who have a problem with this record, they'll have a problem with somebody doing a dance record like Drake. But and I'm not saying we got any leads on this. I know we all pre-tapped in. But God forbid a certain rap artist who's also in his same realm were to drop a rap song with some African drums, was a step-by-step dance song. I'm pretty sure those same niggas wouldn't have no issue.
Oh, 100%.
Hold on. Are you talking about?
You talking about Kendrick Lamar?
If Kendrick did a dance record with African drums, would that be received differently?
I think it would be.
Trissy Slide?
I actually think it would be.
That's such a.
Oh, he's embracing the culture.
I mean, we've just seen so much from Kendrick at this point, and like I said, it's not his fault. But just like, when is the last time you seen any anything negative said about his music?
I
is a long time ago. It's 5 years ago.
He don't drop too much music, so that's I mean that for him that is pretty recent.
Like so, it's like
2 albums ago.
It's 2 albums ago. So it's just like I get Tay's premise. Like I don't think Kendrick has the ability to make a dance record, but I think if he were to try and make one, I think that the reception would be different. Just because they're both received so differently. I think that's why both are needed. I think that's why both are needed, and I think that's why both work. Like they're not the antithesis, but they're the opposite of one another, and that allows them both to be as great as they are. But yeah, so I think the Tootsie Slide is a cool record. I'm not holding it up to the same standard I hold anything like 4 p.m. or 5 a.m. I mean 5 a.m. in Toronto or anything like that. And I think that's where people need to just like get off their high horse. Like it's a fun record, whatever. Frank Ocean dropped 2 new songs. Did you guys listen to them?
No.
Yeah, I did.
How did you feel about them, Tay?
I'm gonna be real with you. It's been kind of the same way with all Frank's drops since Blind.
Bro, I don't like any of them.
No,
they aren't moving me at all.
No.
Wow, that's crazy. Chanel's one of his best songs in my opinion. No. And then Lens. But after Lens, I have not liked anything. I'll be honest with you. Like after Lens, he dropped Chanel and Lens after Blonde. I have not liked anything. So I will agree with you guys there. Like he has not dropped anything after those 2 tracks. And we going on like what? Blonde was
2016, August 2016.
Yeah, man. So it's 2020. So we going on. I'll say 2017 because that's when I think Chanel came out 2017, and so did Lens. I have not liked anything from him in 3 years, and he's been dropping songs. He's dropped songs since then, or he's appeared on songs, and I have just not been in love with anything he's put out since those tracks. And so,
it's not even like this. The music's bad. It's just like background noise. Like I could listen through this shit.
Yeah, it's not doing anything. It doesn't make me feel anything. I don't feel a way when I listen to these records. They just exist. And so that brings me my question about Frank Ocean. Like, what is the expectation of him as an artist at this point amongst you guys? Like, when you I feel like he's clearly a star. Like, he's but like, what makes him a star? Like, because these songs dropped, and granted, they dropped the same night as a huge Drake record. But I feel like Frank should have gotten when he's been dropping these songs the last few months or whenever he's been dropping these records, they have not been making any real noise. And for a guy of his caliber, who already doesn't release music as frequently as he does, for him to not be making any noise with these records at all, is that alarming? Is that something that should worry him going forward, or to monitor? Like the fact that nobody's really talking about any of these songs he's dropping, nobody's saying anything, they're not moved by them or anything like that.
I mean, for me, I really like Blonde, but for me, that and Channel Orange don't get as much play as they used to for me because I'm kind of not all Frank Ocean, but like he showed like a way that like I've kind of like grown to the fact that he's like, you know, just not gonna be here, so I'm just like not that interested.
But I'm saying when the music when he drops,
but like when he
songs,
does, I'm just like I'm not that interested, and I'm like I haven't liked anything
in such a long time. Okay,
so I'm like, bro, like maybe I just don't like his music anymore.
What about you, Tay? Like, are you the lack of noise around his music at this point? Is that a red flag? Is that a bad thing on his behalf?
I don't think we'll be able to tell until he drops another projects, because I think while I mean you would think that these singles would get more buzz, part of his mystique I think elevates his stardom.
Yeah,
because we don't see him too often in the culture. He's kind of like Daft Punk, like he drops and then he just goes away.
No, like for sure. Like he doesn't tour really. He does the festival stages and he does festival shows and everything, but like as far as like actually going on tours, he doesn't do it. He's not a big singles guy. Like I think the biggest two songs of his career are probably "Thinking About You" and "Pyramids."
I don't know if Pyramids. I think it's his best, but I don't know.
"Thinking About You" is the biggest, but like, does he have another song bigger than "Pyramids" after "Thinking About You" though? Like,
solo records.
Nah.
Like Nike.
Yeah, like Nike's "Nice" was a niche record, but it didn't chart it. None of these songs like performed or anything like that.
Probably Novocaine is probably
so like his three biggest records came within his first two projects.
Pre-2012.
Yeah, so it's like so yeah, like I'm not looking at these records to be like huge, these songs that he's dropping to be like huge Billboard hits. That's not realistic to ask of him. But remember after Channel Orange up until Blonde, it sounded like there's a lot of noise. Like, where is Frank Ocean? Like, we where's the next album? Like, we want the next album.
Yeah,
I do not feel like there's been the same energy.
People got Blonde. They were like, yeah, it's very, very good, but
like I just don't feel like the energy.
I think it's a combination of that, but then also there's been an influx of different R&B and pop artists that have been like dumped into the culture.
That
the last couple years. Like we didn't have a Burn Fayez. Tory was still establishing himself. Bryson wasn't here. Party was like he had dropped Party 1, but his stardom wasn't anywhere near what it is now. So
no, PND2 came after Channel Orange, and then PND3 was 2016, same year as Blonde, but so was the same writing for work and shit like that. So his profile definitely.
Yeah, and then you got these other niche artists like her, Steve Lacy,
Black,
Xavier Omar, Black, who like I guess you could say like they're more alternative R&B.
Yeah,
they also fill a void that he did pre-Blonde.
Yeah, like I think that there's more. I would agree with you. There are a few more people in his particular space, so it doesn't make the demand for his music as high. But I could be miscalculating this. I just think Frank Ocean he's such a weird artist to talk about because the music is good. I will never say his music isn't good. I like Channel Orange. I like Blonde. I like Nostalgia Ultra. I don't think he has a bad project, like objectively speaking. But I do think he's become very, very overrated, in my opinion. Like there's like last night when T-Pain and Lil Jon were having their hit battle or whatever. I saw somebody. A conversation broke out when Lovers and Friends got played. Like, why can't we get hip hop and R&B smashes like this anymore? And I said because most of our male R&B artists from this era just aren't on the same level as a guy like Usher. We don't have anybody that is that big, that good, that can make a R&B hip hop collaboration work in that sense.
Yeah.
And so somebody came to me and one of the names that they mentioned was Frank Ocean. And I was like, there's no way. Frank Ocean just can't. And so it turned into a Frank Ocean versus Usher conversation, bro. Like who's like Frank Ocean's two albums versus 8701 and Confessions. And there's a lot of people on the internet, not in real life, because I don't think I would ever run into anybody in real life. Nobody I hang out with would ever say this. But people on the internet really believe that his two albums are superior to 8701 and Confessions. And there are a lot of people who believe Frank Ocean is like one of the greatest R&B artists of all time already, and it just leads to a weird conversation for me because I don't think he's done anywhere near enough to be mentioned in that breath, and I don't think his music has been impactful enough. Like,
hell no.
Like, I don't listen to his music and get the same feeling I get when I hear "You Don't Have to Call" or "You Got It Bad" or "You Remind Me" or "Confessions Part 1" or Part 2. Yeah, "Let It Burn," "Superstar." Like, I don't get the same feeling like listening to him that I get listening to those records, and that's why I think that it's just a disconnect. I think that Tay hit the nail on the head. His mystique and his stardom comes from his mystique more than his actual music, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. And
I gotta take, y'all probably not gonna agree with. Like, it's so blasphemous that people are even trying to compare him and Usher. But even with guys who came out around the same time he did, y'all might not agree with this, but I don't think, even if they are better, I don't think the gap between Miguel's first two albums and his first two albums is that substantial at all.
I take. What's Miguel's second album, Kaleidoscope Dream?
Yeah, and that's to me better than any of the four.
That's not a hot take in my opinion. Like, I think that
I don't know. The Frank Ocean albums are like pretty critically acclaimed, and
I could get shits.
And they have a lot of numbers to back
the critical acclaim,
and numbers to back.
But you know,
did he make his mind?
Look, I think it's pretty close, but I think the vast majority of people probably have Frank Ocean.
I don't think you can bring critical acclaim with Frank Ocean into a conversation about the quality of music versus somebody else, because for lack of better terms, bro, like, his music is really that type. Like, it's the people who are writing these music reviews at Pitchfork and shit like that, they not relating to what Miguel is singing about, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
They not you look at the reviews Confessions has.
No, oh yeah, I know.
So are you going to, like, I'm not
look, but I'm not using it as
no, I agree, but I'm just saying, like,
it's like a lot of people like it.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Like, those albums, they not only have a cult following, but they have a mass cult following. A lot of people really, really are behind those albums. Like, we saw the response of Drake coming out for Tyler the Creator's Festival, and them wanting Frank Ocean. Like, there's a lot of people that love
those
Frank
some
Ocean.
Weirdo ass teenagers too.
A lot of people love Frank Ocean, bro.
They do, but like, it's just so like, I think critical acclaim with Frank Ocean is just like, I can't even take his album reviews seriously at this point, because I just feel like he's one of those people, the same way I feel about Kendrick in a sense. Like, I feel like anything they put out is going to be met with overwhelming acclaim from critics, from writers. Like, they make the type of music that this is what they are looking for. So it's like, I can't take those like reviews on those artists, those type of artists. Like, the same thing with Kanye. When Kanye put out The Life of Pablo and Pitchfork gave it like a 9.3 or some shit, I was like, all right, bro, like, you, like,
really?
Yeah, Life of Pablo got like a 9 point something on Pitchfork, bro. I swear to God, bro. Like, no lie. Like, I feel like if I pull this up right now,
yeah, it's somewhere around there. Because I remember we was having a conversation about it in the room one day.
Like, I really think
it's like an all right album, but man,
it's a solid album, but like, let me see.
His last all right album.
9.0, 9 flat, Life of Pablo. Like, Pitchfork. So, like, that tells you, like, certain artists, anything they put out is gonna get critically acclaimed. And so, like, Pitchfork didn't want to give Jesus is King is like they gave it like a 7.
Wow.
And they gave Ye like a 7. Like,
yeah, they're just like, you check the box, Kanye.
Yeah, so it's like, bro. So that's the type of thing. So yeah, just to get back on track, like, I just feel like Frank Ocean has like reached that point for me where it's just like, it's like a fork in the road, and I don't know which direction I want to go in with him. Like,
the sucker just so bad, it almost makes me not want to like his music.
Yeah, and I hate to be like that type of person because I feel like people who are like that are letting outside opinions influence how they feel about the music. But at the same time, just seeing how people talk about him, say he's like the greatest. Like one day, people were on Twitter telling me he's a better songwriter than The Dream, bro, and I was like confused. Like I'm like, bro, how are you saying that? Like The Dream has written hits for Beyonce himself, like other huge R&B artists,
Yeah.
like I don't think that I think that being moody and angsty is getting too much props and too many it's being valued too much in music now. We need to get back to a point where get back to the point where I think music is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. I think the people who make the least enjoyable music now are the people that are getting the most respect and acclaim from critics. But there was an album that did drop this weekend. Contrary to popular belief, contrary to what we've been talking about so far, how this has been a light week. There was an album that dropped this week from a very respected artist. I will say that he's not a superstar or a star act like the previous 2 weeks we've discussed with The Weeknd and with Party Next Door. But Thundercat returned with a new album for us titled "It Is What It Is." Now, I'm gonna be the first to tell you guys, I'm not particularly like I'm not an expert on Thundercat. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am. Tay, I don't know about you. I don't know if you're more well versed in Thundercat's music than I am. I feel like you might be.
A little bit. Like I appreciate Thundercat in the same vein that I appreciate like Terrence Martin doing production for somebody, or like
Yeah.
trying to think of another artist. Like, but you get what I'm saying. Like he's like some extra like seasoning.
Anna Wise, all them that came on for that To Pimp a Butterfly run with Kendrick.
Yeah, bro. Like he's extra seasoning on the track, but like I don't check for his music individually.
And this is where I think Drew is clearly the resident Thundercat expert out of all three of us. Like Drew was the one who told, like I've heard Thundercat's music in passing. Like we've all heard To Pimp a Butterfly. I think we all agree To Pimp a Butterfly is a great album. We all love it, and we love what Thundercat added to the album. But like Tay said, I'm not somebody who particularly goes and checks for everything he drops. Whereas Drew, and shout out to Melvin, one of our homies. They are like the two biggest Thundercat fans that I know. And Renz. Shout out to Renz as well. So Drew was the one who told me to listen to this album. He wanted me to really listen to it, take a deep dive into it, and try to. I'm gonna let Drew go ahead and take the floor and give some background to like what Thundercat is about, who he is, and like why he's important. Because I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of him. I'm not even sure a lot of people know that he was a part of To Pimp a Butterfly per se. So
okay, so obviously we talk about like To Pimp a Butterfly and Thundercat. We know was on several different tracks from These Walls, the intro, Wesley's Theory, King Kunta. Like him, he had his fingerprints all over that album. Like he does about 5 or 6 tracks, I believe. And man, Kendrick and him really got in the booth, and then after that, he dropped his like critically acclaimed project, Drunk, and had big features. Kendrick was on that album, Wiz Khalifa, Pharrell, and Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, like, it's a who's who of superstars on that album.
Like he's got a lot of, Mac Miller, like a lot of big features all on that album, big singles, everything. Like Them Changes was actually on the Chris Rock, special, the opening song and everything. Like he's definitely gotten a lot bigger in the last couple of years, but It Is What It Is dropped on Thursday, and it is his 4th studio album with Brain Feeder. He signed under Flying Lotus record label.
Okay.
So, independent, guy. He plays bass out of LA, and he's probably produced and, done a couple tracks with a lot of LA bass rappers and all that. it was good to
get some new music from
new
him.
music, man. He was actually going on tour, but obviously,
COVID-19 is
COVID-19 has completely ended everything. There will be no tours for a minute at least. So
yeah. So when I cut this album on for the first time, I listened to it while I was working. I was doing some work. I'll cut it on, and I didn't realize I looked at how long it was beforehand, but I didn't realize it when I was listening, oh shit, this shit is over with. I listened to it one time and then I looked up and the album was over. And so I think with this album, the first listen I made, I listened to it when I was working, and then last night before I went to sleep, I cut it on again and listened to it in totality. This album, if you aren't careful and you aren't paying attention, and when I say this, I don't want this to sound like it's disrespect, because it's actually a compliment in a way. I think if you aren't careful, you can listen to it and it can all sound the same to you.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was gonna be the only person who said it.
It can sound the same, and so when it sounds the same, you can get in you can if you aren't careful, you'll look up and you're like, oh wait, this is over, and it's because his voice and his tone never changes throughout the project and throughout any song for the most part from what I've heard from him. But I think that's also his strength. I think that the best compliment I can give Thundercat and his music is that you can play this in damn near any setting almost, and it's good background music. It's really easy to listen to. The live instrumentation, combined with his voice mixed with it, it makes for. It's impossible, in my opinion, to call this music bad. I don't think that there's any way that this can be classified as anything other than good music. You object, Tate?
I got receipts today.
Go ahead, Tate. If you want to step in and you have something to say, go ahead and say it.
I'll say this. I think from a production standpoint, it's really good music. I don't know if he composes all of it. Do you know, Drew?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as him being a musician, kudos to him. He's a great musician as far as the different instruments he plays. I think as far as a live performance, this will play great. If I was at a festival or if I was at a lounge somewhere, and I'm a lounge head, as y'all know, this would play great. I think hearing it in different settings, whether it be in my AirPods or just playing it on my laptop while I was working, because of how his tone is when he sings, the music can drown out the lyrics of what he's actually saying, and I think that what lost me. I legit ran through this 4 times, and it's not a long album, but with the reviews that we do, when y'all tell me oh, okay, we're gonna review such and such, and it's Thursday night, I generally don't listen to an album 4 times, and if I'm still searching for something, I don't know if I can say it's good music.
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with how you framed it. I'll let Drew go ahead and rebuttal, because I know Drew hasn't said much about the album yet, so I'll let him go ahead and step in before I comment again.
Well, I remember when the album initially got announced, I was pretty, excited because, we hadn't gotten music for a couple years now, and he dropped the first single, Dragon Ball Durag, and he dropped a video for it, and it was a funny video, and
Is Zach Fox in the video?
No.
Who's in the
Kali Uchis?
Kali Uchis, yeah. This is him standing outside of her apartment and everything.
And he's singing it to her and all that. And it's funny, and the song is funny, and that's what he doesn't take himself too serious, and he makes I don't want to say weird dude music, but it is kind of
no,
it's right. It's guys who I watch anime, or I play video games a lot, or I do things that are the
song is called Dragon Ball Dude.
Yeah, exactly. And the instrumentation is really what draws you in, and the chorus is very, very catchy. And then he dropped the Mac Miller tribute song with Ty Dolla $ign and Lil B, and I was all right, completely different type of feel than the first.
The song Fair Chance is a tribute?
Fair Chance. No, it's about Mac Miller.
I didn't catch that.
It's literally about Mac Miller. I did not catch that.
Yeah. That's wild. And that's honestly been my favorite. What'd you say?
And that's part of my problem with the music.
It's like you can't catch the lyrics and what was being discussed and everything.
What do y'all mean? He's literally talking to like Ty Dolla $ign in the chorus. We were just getting lit yesterday, me and you, but now everything's all gone. Nothing will be the same as yesterday.
I didn't piece it together. That was about Matt Miller.
But you know, Lil B kind of ruins the song for me. He just comes in all off beat, just like doing Lil B things. But like, you know, it's cool. Like it's fun. Like Thundercat and Ty are really, really good. They both play guitar on it. So like,
I think Ty is really good on this song.
Yeah.
I think Ty, his voice. I think I just got like caught up in how he sounded more than like listening to the lyrics, and like it really drew me in. Like it sounded really good. And I think my thing was Ty provided a change of pace, kind of like versus Thundercat's tone throughout the whole album. Ty's voice came in a little bit stronger, but it complemented Thundercat well, and it added a layer to the song that I might not have been getting on records with just Thundercat. And Tay, I know you were trying to say something. What were you trying to say?
Yeah, like I didn't piece that together like Cam was saying. Also, y'all gonna probably think I sound crazy right now. Like even Ty's feature, like I thought it was solid. I didn't think it was great. I liked it because it was a change of pace, like with the tune of how the both of them were singing. But yeah, bro, like I tried to take as much away as I could from this album, but I'm gonna have to revisit this probably.
Here's the thing. So like after those two singles dropped, I didn't have any idea of how the album was gonna sound. But when I went through it the first time, I was like, I like it. I don't like it as much as Drunk. But then I went back and I took my dog for a walk because like we had to get out of the house. You know, obviously the quarantine was going on, and we went for a walk. We walked around the block, and it hit me, and I'm like, wow, this is a really, really good album.
You had your blonde moment.
Yeah. Yep. And like some really, really big callbacks to the album that I really liked were Black Qualls with Steve Lacy, and it actually had Childish Gambino, Cam's favorite artist, on it.
Yeah.
And he sounded really, really good.
He was enough to make me skeptical when Drew told me I needed to listen to this album.
Look, I am not a Gambino fan. I want to make that clear.
Fuck that boy.
I like Redbone and I like Atlanta, the show.
Like one song in his TV show.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm not really a fan of Childish Gambino. But like I got like the Redbone Childish Gambino on this track. Like I like him in that funk bag. I do. And
I like him when he's not allowed to enter a recording studio. That's my favorite version. That's my favorite version of Childish Gambino.
Yeah. So, you know, obviously, like we talked about, the album's only 38 minutes long and it's 15 tracks. So that just shows you how short it is.
Yeah, it's fly. It's an easy listen.
Like, you know, you can go down to the store and get your groceries and listen to the whole album before you finish, you know, your shopping and get home. But that, you know, the single, obviously, I like How I Feel, Dragon Ball Do-Rag. Like, I like a lot of songs from it because, like Cam talked about, Thundercat does a good job of making, like, very good, like, background noise. So, like, if you're, like, cleaning up or, like, watching something where, like, his instrumentation is, like, very, very, very good. Because, like, one thing he can really do is play the bass guitar.
Yeah.
He did an interview with GQ the other day talking about his favorite bass guitar. And they were talking about Drake's uncle, Larry Graham, and all that, and all those famous bass players and all that. And Thundercat obviously knows the shit and all that. But Tay, what the funny thing I want to get into about it is like the album is actually getting like universal acclaim. Like it has an 87 on Metacritic right now, and it has a good number of reviews right now. Like obviously, you know, we're only a week out of it, but like a 9 out of 10 from Exclaim.
He's the most reviews he gonna get probably. Like he's not gonna get
a 4 out of 5 out of All Music.
Yeah.
You know, a 9 out of 10 from Uncut.
Pitchfork review will probably come out tomorrow or by Tuesday if they do review it, and that'll be the last major one for him.
Yeah, so he's got an 87 on Metacritic, and like that's one of the highest rated reviews. And Drunk, the album before, got pretty good reviews too.
Like I think Tay hit the nail on the head when it comes.
The type of music that he makes is like easily like reviewable.
And I think when you go in, I think that this shit is gonna sound really, really. I think you'll gain an appreciation for this type of music when you see it live.
Yeah,
I think seeing him perform live, seeing the songs how they work in a live setting, like he said, in a lounge or maybe even or at a concert, wherever it may be, a festival. I think people can gain a greater appreciation for it. I think if you go into a Thundercat project, with the idea, I think going forward, because I believe personally, this album does make me want to go back and try to see what it is I might have been missing out on. But I'm not going to listen to Thundercat for his lyrics or anything like that per se.
Definitely.
I'm going in listening to the instrumentation and how the music is arranged. I think that is what I took away most from this project. I think my favorite songs were, like I said, Fair Chance is one of mine. I love Dragon Ball Durag. I think that that's a really, really good record. I like Lost in Space, Gray Sky 2226, and Interstellar Love. I like the first two tracks. And I don't fuck with Childish Gambino, but Black Qualls is a pretty good record in my opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and just say that it's bad because he's on it. Like, it's a good record. So I think for a first time listener, for my first time listening to a full Thundercat project, for me to come away and say I like probably around 6 or 7 of these songs, like, I consider it a success for me, and especially because I've only listened to it twice. And like I said, it's so easy to, like, if you're not paying attention, to like really catch what is what and what's weaving in. But those are the songs that immediately stood out and made me want to remind myself what it was that I was listening to, so I can definitely go back and listen to those. Tay, what is your final verdict on the album? Clearly, Drew, it clicked with him relatively fast. I think that I would say that it's a good album. How do you feel about it?
I think I'm gonna have to revisit this in order to maybe get things to stick. Like it, and I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on the album because it's not bad music with just like how it's composed and like the production and shit. It's just like the songs themselves and like the songwriting doesn't do anything for me right now. I'd have to revisit this in the same way. Like I like listening to Terrence Martin music. So I'll say it's solid for now. But yeah,
I will say this about the album and about Thundercat as a whole. We don't know what direction Kendrick Lamar is going in on his next project. We don't know yet. He changes his sound basically from what we see in every album. I wouldn't mind seeing them do a EP or maybe
Law and Analyze. Get back in that Pimp Butterfly.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily want that same exact subject matter again, but like as far as Kendrick rapping over live instruments,
production.
Like I think
the jazz production does a lot, but yeah, he just don't.
You said what, Tay?
I said the jazz infused production, like I could fuck with. I just don't need to hear him talking.
A Thundercat.
That's all.
I mean, I don't mind background vocals.
He does background vocals and like walls and all that.
Yeah, like if he does background vocals on a project with Kendrick, like I don't necessarily think that. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a whole album from them, but an EP or like maybe 7 tracks or something like that. Like,
look, you asking for music from Kendrick Lamar.
I am. I might be asking for too much.
What are you doing, bro? We're not gonna get any new music. Forever. He don't want to rap.
I think you might be right. I might be asking for too much, bro. I might be.
He don't want to rap. I want to hear him rap, but he don't want to rap.
It's just wild. Like we really are. He just does not want to rap anymore.
He don't want to rap. He don't want to do features. Like he don't want to rap. But he want to be regarded as the best rapper ever. And look, I love Kendrick, but man, like, come on.
He can't be the best in the world right now if he just is not rapping. Like, you can't be the best and I know sports and rapping is different, but you can't be the best player in the league if you're not on the court. If it's other guys out here scoring 40 points
and you just hurt
and you just not playing, you hurt. Like we gotta until we see you perform again, we can't call you the best. Like LeBron lost his title as the best in the world for missing 18 games last year and missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, he had to come back and prove himself again. KD don't get called the best in the world right now because he hurt. Like,
and he was back-to-back NBA
Finals MVP. So it's like, you gotta perform. Like that is just that simple. Like, and I feel like we discussed this Kendrick topic so much, whether it's on here or outside of, but we just want music from him, bro.
We tired of this man ducking.
Yeah, like, it's time for him to like really put up or shut up, in my opinion. Like, for real. Lil Baby on your ass. Lil Baby is coming. Lil Baby is coming for the throne. He's the next guy up. And if Kendrick don't want to step up and protect his spot, I have no problem putting the next king of Atlanta above him. The next guy. I promise you. But
y'all talking about this, it's just making me think about something. If we had to do a post right now as far as rap artists, how would you say the coast is right now?
It ain't good.
how the music is out here?
No.
Yeah.
Like LA, as far as like holding the flag, as far as like hip hop heavyweights right now. I think that's what you meant, Tay, right? Like, as far as like,
Yeah, hip hop heavyweights.
You know, on hip hop right now.
Yeah.
LA ain't got nobody big popping right now like that. Right now,
Kendrick is still
like right now.
No, Kendrick is still probably the top guy. Like,
yeah, but he don't come outside.
No,
yeah, but like we talking about right now,
but,
like he ain't dropped in.
No, he ain't dropped in
so
3 years,
long,
3.5 years. Schoolboy Q had a chance,
He
but
flopped.
I think
he did 55K, and I love Q. I like the album, but like,
is J-Rock the best guy from out here right now?
Yeah.
he came out 2 years ago.
Actually, no. From LA or from the West Coast?
From
he
LA.
came out 2 years ago.
He did, but still.
From LA.
He been doing like, how does he get to be the LA king right now?
He dropped more recently than
Because he still does, bro.
He dropped more recently than Kendrick.
Bro, ain't none of these dudes dropped. Other than bad projects like YG and all.
He still does features, bro.
Yeah, J-Rock still do
What was
features.
the last J-Rock feature?
I listen to a lot of West Coast music, so it's gonna be like niggas like Mozzie, fucking. Even though I hate this nigga Larry June and like hell other artists.
Bro,
Yeah.
Blue Bucks Clan holding it down for LA right now, bro.
Bro, remember.
Shout out to Josh P.
Literally 8 months ago, Blueface was like the next guy that was gonna like.
We knew he wasn't gonna be last long, but he was like angling for it.
Bro, like
it fizzled out fast for him.
Bro, like man, like we heard Tatiana and we heard the
next
big
thing.
Two other tracks. Disrespectful.
Yeah, bro. Like
all of them. Like, and then now I ain't heard that name in months.
He fizzled out faster than even his biggest detractors. I don't know if they thought it was gonna be that quick for him. Like, I didn't think it was gonna end that fast for him. Like, but Tay, you were about to say, as far as West Coast, you was about to say somebody who wasn't from LA, huh?
Yeah, it got to be Mozzie.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree 100%. If you talking about who just the most consistent guy from out of California and holding down West Coast hip hop the most, I definitely would agree that Mozzie is the top guy and the most consistent guy right now. Like,
and a lot of that just because the sheer volume. I mean, not from the Bay, but like from Northern California, like them niggas just drop music like that from Louisiana or some shit. Like that niggas will put out 4 albums or 4 tapes within 1 single year.
Yeah. And so, but I appreciate that from artists. Like, I don't think everybody has to put out multiple projects in 1 year, but I like hearing from you. I like hearing music consistently from you. I don't have a problem with guys taking their time making music. I do think that you should be allowed to take however long you want to take. Like, if Kendrick wanted to take 3.5 years, 4 years to make an album, I don't have no problem with that. But in between that, you can at least do some features or drop some songs, some Lucy's or something, just to let us know, hey,
bro, I know he got music, bro. He got shit in the chamber.
Oh, he 100% does. Like, when guys record albums, these rappers probably record.
Bro, we've heard leaks,
50
bro.
songs exactly. So
we've gotten leaks, bro. Like
before Damn came out, we got the Hard Part 4.
I'm tired of Kendrick, man.
Was New Freezer before or after Damn? That was after Damn, wasn't it?
Which
New Freezer, Rich the Kid.
Um,
That was 2017 or
yeah,
what?
yeah, it was after.
It was after. Okay, so he did that after.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I can't remember how many features he was doing before Damn was released. It was pretty quiet for him before Damn came out, if I
he
remember
did
correctly.
SZA's album.
He was on SZA's album.
And he was on Anderson .Paak's album on 10th.
He was on No More Parties in LA on Pablo.
What's that TD artist they have, Sir?
Yeah.
I think he's been on his album as well.
They were shot with the Sun's Tirade. Sun's Tirade was before
2016.
Yeah, so he's on Sun's. So he did all TDE artist projects damn near that dropped in that window.
Yeah.
And then he did
this might be a better question for Top, but I don't understand why these niggas, the four of them collectively on TDE, they don't just do a Black Hippie album, because that allows them to tour and then have an excuse to not fucking put out no music for 2-3 more years if they choose to. It's a quarter of the work.
They did the TDE tour. They just didn't have the album. And then
I know they did the championship tour last year, but like actually have music collectively to perform.
Well, they said they would never. They have a couple tracks, you know, but like they said they would never do a Black Hippie album. I remember watching an interview like in 2012. They were like, "We'll never do a Black Hippie album," and I don't think those guys are even close enough anymore to do an album anymore. Like Kendrick and them talked about it. He was like, "Man, like me, Absol, we used to like sleep on top floor together."
Yeah, it's like
and he was like, "Now we won't talk to each other for like 2 months."
I think when guys start to get success, and it's not meant as like a slight thing, but like when you become as big as Schoolboy Q and then magnify that, multiply that even bigger for Kendrick.
Bro, Schoolboy Q was Kendrick's hype man.
Yeah.
Like dead ass, bro.
So it's like when you think of that, what those guys were and where they are now, it's probably a lot harder to get guys on the same schedule, a lot harder to lock guys down. And you take into real life situations like Kendrick has a family now, like Schoolboy Q has a family.
J-Rock got kids.
Exactly. So it gets harder.
Absol is awful now. Like we have all of these concerns. I do not want that album. This album will not come out good. Schoolboy Q can't make music anymore. That's universal. Absol can't rap anymore. Kendrick don't want to rap. J-Rock gonna be the only one prepared, but he's the one guy that's always holding his own.
SZA can't sing right now.
Yeah, keep that out.
Is TD? Well, is it over with? Is over with for the
when Kendrick, whenever that deal up when he leaves.
What you say?
I said depend on what Kendrick's next drop does.
But even if Kendrick's next album is incredible,
that's one guy.
Like we would all agree, YMC and B been pretty dead for a minute. Even with Drake was signed to Cash Money, Young Money as a whole, Cash Money.
Wayne wasn't dropping, and Nicki
was declining, and then the rest of them
didn't really have any other acts.
Yeah, so
I mean, big label rosters just aren't a thing anymore. Good music, not anymore. Rockefeller, like
QC carrying the flag.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. When you really lay it out, like all of their artists or where they are at their careers now. Isaiah Rashad, are we even sure he's alive, bro? Like, has anybody checked on him?
From time.
Like, yeah, I saw him at a bar about a month ago.
He checks in from time to time on Reddit, Instagram, and like
he'll
Twitter.
tweet from time to time. Yeah, that was a joke. Like we know.
No, I know, but like he'll get on, and a whole bunch of people will like jock him for like, oh, where's the album? Where's the album? Then he'll get off.
Like that's my thing. Like
he doesn't like people asking him. He's like, I'm not ready yet.
Like we just don't know where he is. So it's just like all of these people like that are on the label is a lot of mitigating factors for why we haven't gotten as much music as fans might have wanted from the members of that label. I think there's a lot riding on that label with this next Kendrick album. I really do. I think that God forbid, because I don't want this to be the case, but if he were to drop a dud, that changes the whole outlook of that label in the last, year and a half, 2 years? Because you can't really say the last, great project from him if Kendrick drops a subpar album would be the J-Rock Redemption album. That was 2018, which isn't far long ago. But hip hop fans, knowing how fans are in hip hop and everything, this is a very "what have you done for me lately" type of genre, more than any other genre, I believe, in music. I don't see pop artists get this same type of treatment from their fans, or R&B artists, anything like that. I think it's strictly for hip hop. If you drop one bad project, it's going to be remembered. And so I think that if Kendrick were to drop something that was subpar, I think that would hurt the image of the label, especially being your biggest act. Like your biggest act,
only big act.
Yeah, really your only big act. Your star, just like in sports, a star can mask a lot of flaws for a label, just like it can for a team. But if the star, you're only as good as your star player, in my opinion. And so, if he for the first time ever he falters, like it would be a bad look for the label as a whole, especially considering how long it's been since he's dropped an album. But yeah, man, like I just think that we all really just want to hear Kendrick rap again, and I want to hear him rap again so much that I wouldn't mind hearing him rap over Thundercat production. I would definitely be 100% open to hearing him rap with Thundercat arranging the music. I think that's a welcome idea for me personally. I don't know how many other people feel the same way out there, but I would definitely want to see it.
Hypothetical scenario: him and J-Rod drop a 7-track EP.
I'm down.
Who's winning song for song?
Probably J-Rock.
Yeah, J-Rock. I think
J-Rock just don't get beat.
Yeah, and his voice and delivery, I think, is more like he provides something different than what Kendrick does. Like I think that it's the same way like on Money Trees. Like he just it's a different vibe you get when he starts rapping. I think his delivery and his voice it just stands out more than Kendrick. I don't think he's a better rapper per se, but I just think that he just he gives you a different feel.
I'm convinced now this nigga, with all the features he does for them or other outside artists, he has the production first, sends it to them, and then sits on that track for about 2 weeks.
Bro, probably, dog. Like, probably that has to be the case. Would you want a J-Rock and Kendrick EP?
I would want anything
from Kendrick at this point.
Like, I don't care.
What about you, Tay?
Definitely, because they don't have a bad track together. I mean, it isn't a huge sample size, but like Money Trees on Kendrick's first studio album, that was a great track. Trying to think, on 90059, him and Kendrick had a track together where like they both had a verse and then we're going back and forth on the last verse, bar for bar, and then the other Lucy's that they've done together as well.
Then they got Wild Freestyle on Redemption, which is good.
Yep.
So
and
King's Dead. Yeah, so they don't have any bad records off the top of my head. Like if we made an EP right there, those records that they have together, you have a really good EP. Yeah. So I would be open to hearing a Kendrick and J-Rock collaborative EP for sure. And like Drew said, I just want to hear Kendrick Lamar rap again. Like I think that everybody else is dropping music or has dropped. Like I just think people want to hear what Kendrick has to say. What is going on in your life? Like, and you're just that respected. But that'll conclude this week's episode of the First Responders Podcast. Make sure you follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter and Instagram. More content coming from all of our different podcasts covering a wide range of topics. Make sure you follow so you can be up to date on all of the stuff that we have going on. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.